DJ Big Rob. As we bring down the Cabo Experience 2022, I'm bringing talent. I'm bringing still.
Welcome to Conversations with My Cuz. I am Shayla Shay.
It's me, your girl Michelle with one L.
Nah, brother love. It's the man of love, DJ Big Rob.
In the building.
I got jazz hands. What's going on? What's going on? Happy Sunday, guys.
Happy Sunday, guys.
What's popping? How was your weekend? How was your weekend?
Oh gosh, my weekend was good. I relaxed a lot. Like I was just telling them before you got on that I went to see MJ the musical on Broadway today. Caught the matinee.
Okay. Nice.
It was dope. It was just really, really good. I had a really great time.
Nice.
As soon as this is over, I have every intentions on putting on some Michael Jackson and really rocking out, because you forget how much you love it because you don't hear it on the radio as much. But oh my goodness, it's going down. For real.
I have to say, I always listen to Michael Jackson like on a regular.
Oh, good for you, because I don't. I should.
I'll be jamming. I'll be jamming all the time.
You be jamming? You be jamming?
All the time.
I'll be jamming.
All the time, y'all. All the time. MJ in the building. That's my guy.
How was your weekend, show?
You know, I was in here doing what I do, just kind of relaxing and resting and just chilling.
Resting and chilling and resting.
What about you, brother love?
Well, you know, I'm on the road right now, so it's like everybody act like, you know, they ain't got nothing else to do but party. Jesus Christ. So I was out in Poconos this weekend. I had a really, really good time. So
it's been a long time since we've had opportunity to really get out and really socialize, and everybody is trying to get back to what we were doing before COVID,
right?
You know, so it's like, again, it was another boat ride this weekend that I just did not go to, but I know I missed a good time because it was like, I could just tell.
Come on, you went to the boat ride of the year, baby. You went to
I did. I know that was
anything.
That's why.
After that, I don't know. You know what I mean?
Like, it has to be a rocket ship, right?
If it's not topping that, you're gonna have to be out of space. I'm serious, because if you missed it, you missed it. So I don't, I don't have to be at the parties. I'm cool with not going to the parties. I'm so cool with that.
Yo, listen, I'll be out.
You're the DJ.
I'll be out with Ohio with me and Mr. C next month, August 13th.
So y'all kumbaya and y'all done made up.
Little C's. Little C's.
Junior that Mr. C.
All right, we'll dial it back.
Okay. Okay, never mind. I thought you said Mr. C.
Yeah. So we'll be out in Ohio guys. Next month. Yeah. So listen, how's it? So we all had a good weekend, but man, listen, we gotta hit this topic. I just want to know if anybody was we was tuned in to Showtime. You know, it took us back. You know, shout out Supreme Team. Yes.
Before we do the Supreme Team, we're gonna do the toast, which we haven't done.
Oh, okay.
Let's shout out. Let's do a toast to everybody getting back to some sort of normalcy. Like, let's toast to that.
Yes.
Right. Yeah. Sense of normalcy.
That'll work.
Even though the cases is rising, so they say. I don't know, y'all, but still.
Man, listen, that COVID is like a common cold now. Stop it.
Yeah.
You go to COVID. I'll just sit in the house a couple of years.
I don't want it though.
I was telling my mom, I said, stop it, COVID's over. She was flipping out over me.
Let's hope. Let's pray that that's exactly what it is.
Right. Now back to the trending topic.
Back to the trending topic. Shout out to the Supreme Team.
I saw it.
It was great. It brought back so many memories. Yes, it brought back when I was just a kid. I couldn't get in the club.
Yes.
I'm watching all the jewelry go by, you know what I'm saying? The fly girls. Shout out to the fly girls in the 80s, man. Listen. They set the tone. It just took me back. So, matter of fact, I was upstairs watching it again. I didn't even want to get out of bed. Listen, it was a great. Nas did a great job. Shout out to Nas.
He did do a good job. And like you said, it brought back a lot of memories of that time, you know, because you think about it. We were teenagers growing up, running around, doing things. And
that's our time.
That's definitely our time.
Yeah.
And we lived in that era. We lived through that era. So it kind of meant a little bit more, I think, to us, especially those of us that's in our 50s, that's from Queens.
Right.
You know,
right,
so
right.
if you ain't from Queens,
really love it.
It's a whole different feeling if you from other boroughs, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But
yeah, you know, it's crazy too. Like coming up and going through it, it's like when you see it, you know, 20, 25, 30 years later, it's like, yo, we actually lived through that. Like it was really, really crazy because I remember, and you know, I know the guy on the couch is going to relate. We didn't even go to Jamaica by ourselves.
Right.
We
did it.
And you know, you got to think about it. Everything east of Hillside Avenue, all that shit was Southside. If you live out in Rosedale, you're going to Southside.
I have to say that I did because my cousins is from Southside Jamaica, so I used to be out there all the time.
Yeah.
My cousins. Yeah, I used to go out there all the time. And my grandmother used to live out there.
It had to be with somebody I knew. You understand?
We were not welcome.
We was not welcome.
You had to link up with somebody. I was on the Q62 going
by myself. I was traveling out there by myself. I'll go to my grandmother's house. I'll be at my cousin's house. But again, I was going to someone's house that I knew that was from there. So, and you know, my cousins wasn't like street kids, so it wasn't like we was out the street. Their mother was not having that.
Right.
But we used to walk because the church that we grew up in, was down the block from 40 Projects.
Right.
And
you went to church?
I was a church kid. Yes, I was.
You know she was a church kid.
Yes, I was.
Oh Lord.
Don't you see the halo?
She probably will be again.
I pray for that
preacher. See the halo. I don't know if I'll be a church kid again. I don't know about that. But you don't see my halo?
But you know, I just wanted to get into it. You know, shout out to E-Money Bags. You know, it was, you know, rest in peace to him. You know, and you know, it was like even thinking of that is like, you know, coming back, watching us as kids, and to really watching like who he became, you know, later on in life. And you know, it was. I remember the day that he just got a record deal. He just signed a huge record deal. You know, right before he got murdered. And it's like, you know, when you look at stuff like that, it's like, was it really that bad? Like, you know, it's like looking at the Supreme, looking at Black Just, you know, these guys are legends, you know, and it's like, what was all that money really involved? And it's like, in a way, the way that they put the documentary down was crazy. Like, we didn't have no choice. You know, we didn't have no choice as young African Americans coming up in the communities. We didn't have nobody really looking, you know, for that guidance when you know, really live in the hood. Like, you know, like they said, it wasn't a lot of men in the home. You know,
we didn't have any power either.
Yeah. And, you know, so.
And a lot of the ones we looked up to was the drug dealers, which is crazy. But because you seen them, they was getting money. Because in our era, they was really getting money. They was getting money from what we saw.
We didn't see the danger part of it. We saw the outcome of it.
Yeah, but you know what's crazy about all of that? 30 years later, 35 years later, right? Nobody ain't making that kind of money now. That was serious money.
Not on the streets. They're not.
You know, the streets ain't never had that money since the late 80s, early 90s. It was like I think they was talking about 40,000 a day.
And not to promote or glorify it, but back then the game was so much different. There was a little, you know, I mean, you had loyalty and then you had no loyalty, but then it was a little bit more organized. I mean, I hate to even be talking about this on the show, but that's kind of what it was.
It was a business structure.
It was a business structure.
Like every man
now it's just haphazardly, everybody's all over the place.
You have to team up. Like you really, if you want to go far, you need a team.
Well, you know what it is too.
Any aspect of it, honestly, you got to have a good team. We're not. Listen, don't sell drugs, please. Don't be in that game. Don't be,
But just an example of how you can be successful in whatever it is you're doing with the right people on your team.
If you got a good team, you're gonna be good
in life. Yeah.
Right, but you know what the thing is that I realized it now coming like from back then. I'm not gonna put no names out there, but it's like the hustlers, the big hustlers, like let's say like the Supremes and the Just and all of them, is like when they seen shorties like us coming through, we wasn't allowed to do certain things. We had to get in the house. We had to go home. We had, you don't need to be out here. You know what I'm saying? This, that, and the other. It's like right now, we was raised by them for us to respect them. Now the kids behind us don't even respect the elders like us. Like when them little cats, when I come through the hood, they be like, yo, wow, what up? I don't even talk to them. Don't talk to me. I know you did DJ. That's good because you're disrespectful. So before I get into problem with you or beat your mama and daddy up, listen, we're gonna leave this right here. How you doing, young man? And I keep it moving. We can't.
That's how you gotta do it because they're reckless and they don't have no.
Right now. Yes,
they'll shoot you like they really will.
Quick.
Yeah, really quick. Right. And so it's like, nah, man, it's no village. Like we talked about before on one of our shows, there's no village. So there's nobody out here trying to get these kids in line. They're just all over the place. And it depends on what they come from. And sometimes they could come from a good home and end up out there in these streets and just.
But you know what was crazy about the Supreme team thing too is Supreme did 8 years, right? He got a second shot. Mm-hmm. And he couldn't even get it out his system. Mm-hmm. You understand what I'm saying? With Irv, shout out to Irv Gotti and Murder Inc.
He gave him an opportunity to be legitimate and make good money.
Opportunity to be legitimate, and he was making legitimate money. And for some reason, that you still couldn't get away from it.
He had a problem with not being his own boss.
Yeah, and that's true. I'm a boss,
and never really even thinking about how to do that legitimately, because you can be your own boss legitimately.
Exactly.
He didn't see it though. He didn't see that though. He didn't see the vision. He felt like the only way that he could do that was to go back in the game,
right? Because that was familiar. It was familiar.
But you know what was crazy about this is you got to think about not being your own boss. You're talking about $40,000 a day. Think about that.
Right.
Do you really do you really want to go work for somebody else?
I get it, but with that comes you got to be worried about your family. You got to worry about whether you're going to go to jail, whether or not you're going to be killed. It's too much that comes along with that $40,000 a day in that game, as opposed to making $100,000, $150,000, and an opportunity to grow and become your own boss legitimately. Like he wasn't thinking that.
They don't take
He wasn't thinking that. He didn't. He just thought about
it's temporary. If you in the drug game, you real high for a short period of time.
Because now where's he at? Sitting in jail for the rest of his life.
Yeah, and shout out to
that $40,000 a day ain't about nothing right now.
I bet you he take about $100 a day every day.
Yeah, and like I said, shout out to Frank. I really hope he gets that second opportunity to do what he needs.
Yeah, because he does have a chance to get out. So
he has a chance to come home, and he has a chance because of that. And that's another thing with them. But what was killing me with that? Shout out to my guy, the mayor of New York City. My man.
I didn't really know that stuff about him. I was like,
and everything. Eric Adams. Shout out to Eric. Yeah, he's the one that got second chance at life too.
He did.
You understand what I'm saying? He got a shot at second chance too. He has an arrest record, and you know what I'm saying. And I like what he had also said. Like I said, what happens today doesn't mean that'll end up to be your tomorrow.
Correct. Absolutely.
Make
the right choice. Gotta make the right choice. Gotta make the right choice.
So
sorry, I wanted to segue to our 2-hour conversations with my cuz portion of. Let me ask my cuz.
Anime, don't mess this up.
All right.
Come on.
Let me ask my cuz. 'cause it's the cousins, y'all. It's the Ike. How did I do, Ike?
I'm gonna have to see you at the end of the show.
Oh, she's gonna have to eat the cake.
Oh no! Come on, Ike.
Here we go. How you come up with you're gonna have to talk later.
In that, right? The segue. Although we're moving on. Did you want to ask this question?
Yes. Let me go ahead and ask that question. So, what do you guys think? Do you think that the 80s was more dangerous than it is today? Since we just coming off of the trending topic, what do you guys think? We grew up in the 80s, but we raised kids, and now we're dealing with today. So what do y'all think? Do you think it was a lot more dangerous?
I'm gonna let y'all answer. I'm gonna get there.
In the 80s than it is today?
For street crime, I think it is. I think today we struggle with our relationship with NYPD and that being where the danger is. But prior to that, I think that it was more about black on black crime and getting being fearful for just even being in the wrong place at the wrong time could cost you your life back then. And I don't know if I feel like that's what's happening today with, people in these neighborhoods, because I feel like we were almost policing our own areas, right? You policed your left rack. If you came into left rack, you couldn't cause a problem because the men in left rack would put hands. Now it's the police that does that job. So I don't know if it's more. It's a different kind of danger. It's still dangerous overall. So I think that's it.
I'm gonna disagree with that.
Of course you are.
I think that looking back into and I don't know if it's because we're old or not.
Older.
No, we old. With you? We old. Just don't fight it. You old.
I'm old. Not old.
Okay, you old. Well, we're gonna. That's gonna be another topic.
When do you become
old? So I think what happens with us.
When do you become old?
Well, I think what happens with us is
funny.
that I think today's times, the kids have no heart the way we did. A lot of us was like fighting. Like everybody was put your hands up. The most you would probably do is get jumped. Now you just straight getting shot. And I think that, that people at this day and time, I think it's a lot of people that are just angry. And a lot of things is like when you brought up the police and stuff, it's like, it's so much disrespect out there. Sometimes I know we have a lot of the police issues going on and we don't trust the police, but at the same time, going out every day, really wondering if you're gonna come home or not. Because I mean, it's like I got into it with a guy in the parking lot the other day, and I said, right, and he said something, and I'm looking at myself and I'm looking at him, and I'm like, this guy really he's got to have something to really want to bring it to me. Like, guy, you like 4 feet tall, sit down. And you have to really think about it. Like, I could honestly set myself up to be shot. You understand? So I think it's different, but I think the times is probably a little more dangerous now.
It's your turn. You don't have to do it.
It's my turn now. Okay. I agree with Rob, because I do feel like people are more reckless now, and like he said, people really pop off. When we were growing up, it wasn't you could fight somebody and have a fist fight and go home and you still good. And speaking to the police were always killing us. The police were always targeting us. In the 80s, if you guys remember, the NYPD was as corrupt as they could possibly be. The NYPD was terrible back then, especially when Koch was in office. I don't know if y'all remember, but it was a lot of corruption in the NYPD. And again, remember, we didn't have video cameras, so a lot of things wasn't on video. as it is now. So we see it more than we see it, but it was still happening. So I always feel like NYPD, and I'm speaking because we're from New York, and I guess the police department across the world, I think it was always a target on us when it came to law enforcement. Not knocking the cops that, are good or whatever and are not about that life. But when growing up, I do feel like today it's more dangerous. It was dangerous back then because we were living in it. I look back, especially watching the Supreme Team, I looked at how much danger we were really in. Like, we had no idea the amount of danger that we in, the places that we were. All the time when we were sneaking out the house, going different places, because we didn't have cell phones. We was everywhere, and we shouldn't have been there.
It didn't feel dangerous, right?
It didn't feel
dangerous. It just, I feel it now, and maybe that's where the age thing comes in, is because I had clearer eyes than I did back then. So, and I didn't live, and I didn't put myself in situations where it felt like there was something going on that was going to, cost me my life. But yeah, I didn't.
I know.
So I was, but now it's like I feel it. And maybe that's it, that getting older, you start to really see things for what they were.
Admit that you're old. I got it.
I didn't admit I ain't old. I said,
she said older.
Senior, but
kind of the same thing a little bit. I guess I don't know, but
older than I was, but not old.
Yeah.
And it's funny too. And I was looking at, just getting back to the Supreme thing was funny. I was looking at how when they was talking about the TNT and how the cops was pulling us over and stuff like this. But here go the reality to a lot of stuff is that I'm going to talk about me and the guy on the couch right quick. I remember we was 14 years old. 14. And I took my dad's brand new Volvo at 14 years old to the junior high school to bag chicks. This is what we was doing at 14 years old, right? Now, let's really think about this. Was I supposed to get pulled over?
Was I sure you? Yeah.
Of course I was.
You should have. Absolutely.
Of course. I couldn't even.
Hopefully they pulled you over.
I'm going to get chicks, right? I'm going to get chicks. And I'm not in school. And, it was funny, and see, the thing is, and this is why sometimes I go back to the police, because the worst thing that happened to us, they took the guy on the couch and they handcuffed him to the radiator in school. They handcuffed me. And when our parents came and got us, we were fine. You understand what I'm saying? So it's the same thing. Right. So a lot of the times when they be talking about they target only black kids and they target this and they target you're 14 years old bagging chicks at school.
Attempting.
When you're supposed to. No, we was bagging them. I don't know what you're talking about.
You're doing the wrong stuff. I don't know if it was intentional, but we know that there were situations that, and when you think about Central Park 5,
right,
railroaded them. Them kids didn't do nothing, absolutely nothing, and look what happened to them. So that was you look at that was target. They just needed somebody. They needed to get somebody for the crime, so they figured
right, and that's where I said it's like I said, it's scary. And this day and time is worse because honestly, the police have nobody to target.
It is.
They have nobody to target because it's just all
too visual now.
It's chaos right now.
It's a lot scarier. Yeah. And now they so bold now. They're not even caring about cameras anymore. It's just like, I got a camera too.
And it's because there's not enough doing that. Not enough repercussions. Like you need to feel like you're afraid to go to jail also. That's going to send you to jail.
Yeah, and all of this bail reform, like I said before, gun charges and you're getting out in 12 hours and you ain't got to put up $1. That it's just a crazy time right now. It's
and cops are out there fearful. You're taking cops who grew up in the suburbs and you putting them in the hood. They're afraid.
See, I'm glad you said that because I said this years ago when the Bell, when they killed the Bell guy.
Yeah,
Sean Bell. And I said this. You know what really where NYPD went wrong moving into the later years is and people's gonna say I'm crazy, the 60 college credits is what really killed the police department. Because see, what happens was we didn't have the opportunities to go to college. A lot of
you eliminate a whole lot of people.
Right. So if we could take a test and get out the hood, now we'll police our own neighborhoods. Because I'll be honest with you, when I'm in other neighborhoods of other races and stuff, I am a little uncomfortable. You understand what I'm saying? And it's like the same thing. So this guy, like I said with the Sean Bell thing, he panicked to me.
Right.
I don't want to say it's anything intentional. He panicked because he don't understand us. And like I tell people all the time, the African American race, we're smarter than y'all, we stronger than y'all, we're bigger than y'all. You can't really beat us in anything. So it's like when you sit back and you think about it, that these guys are coming from these neighborhoods and not having, they just have a myth on what it's like to work in our communities. And I think
or who we are.
Right.
Or who we are.
Yeah, just who we are and how we even interact with each other. To know that raised voices in our neighborhood doesn't necessarily mean that there's aggression happening.
Right.
We can, have a good time and be as loud.
Right.
Right. And be banging things and stomping our feet from just laughing. And you may get that same thing. And someone who's never experienced it is going to wonder if there's a fight going on upstairs or downstairs, with the neighbor.
Agreed.
Right.
So true.
So
it's
wrong.
So true.
Yeah.
So we say Shay thinks it's more dangerous. And what do you think was more dangerous then or now? Because I think now.
I think now.
What did you say, Shay?
I said before.
I can't remember. I'm asking you.
Oh yeah, I said before. I thought it was.
Before back then. Yeah, back then. So that was okay. All right. So we're going to move on to the next question.
Yes. So the question is about dating. Is it okay to date while divorcing? And this came up because I saw a conversation that someone had this woman. She was dating this guy and she'd been dating him about 6 months, and both of them are going through a divorce. His is coming through a little sooner than hers, but they kind of hooked up a couple of times. And now that they have, the guy is now pulling out. He won't hang out with her, won't, hook up. He's just talking about how he needs to kind of get through the divorce because he thinks it's too dangerous for them to be dealing with each other. And she don't think it's dangerous at all, right? Like, what's the problem? We like each other and we're divorcing. So what's really good? So that was where the question comes up. Do you think it's okay to date while you're divorcing?
Going through a divorce can be a lot. Now, it really depends on where you are mentally. Are you completely over the situation? Or you doing? A lot of times, if you're going through a divorce, you might still be emotionally connected to that person, whether it be I hate you or whatever, or I still love you. You know what I mean? It could be that. So if you're dating someone, that person that you're going to be dating is going to have to kind of deal with that. Because now you still have to interact with your ex-wife in some kind of way, especially if there's kids involved. And it might not be the most healthy situation for you. So I think it really depends on where you are, but I just can't imagine that you're in the most healthy headspace when you're going to a divorce. So you actually be trying to commit to someone else. So it's kind of soon to be moving on.
Yeah, not dating, but not committing, but dating, just out there.
Yeah, but even like, dating, because what are you doing?
Back in the street.
Dating. What is dating? If you want to, that's because to me, some people date to marry, some people date to have sex. So what you doing?
All right, let me got a couple things I need to say. All right, listen. Here we go. It's okay to have sex with the opposite sex while you're going through divorce. But no, it's not okay to date. It's not. Hold on. I'll let you talk. Hold on. Because we have needs. So those needs may need to be fulfilled. I get it. But now, as far as dating someone, like on a dating situation, no, it's not. Now, I'm speaking from experience. Now, when I was going through my divorce, I probably met one of the best women I've ever dated in my life, right? But so much drama has happened in the relationship with my ex-wife, myself. It was like by the time the divorce was over, now I'm looking at the young lady that I was dating. And guess what? I still had the issues with her from the divorce that I just got over, right?
Okay.
And now we're moving forward. So my son ain't going nowhere. That means my ex-wife ain't going nowhere. So every time I have to sit back and deal with my ex-wife, and I'm in this committed relationship from dating that I started when I was going through the divorce, now that drama is going to always be there. So you know what? As much as I cared for her, I turned around and said, hey, listen, this is not going to work. Because every time because me and my ex-wife at some point are going to be friends. We're going to have a good relationship because we're going to get past this. But you're not going to get past to the stuff, what was said and how things was handled because y'all two shared the same man. So no, I don't think it's okay for you to date. But if you're honest with thing and say, hey, baby, listen, you want to get some of that thing or something, you want to have a little bit of fun.
Hey, baby, listen.
And, then we, that's a conversation we can have. But trust me, when my divorce is final, I'm not moving forward with you. Because these feelings are still going to harbor moving forward versus me being with somebody else. And I could say to the new woman in my life, hey, this is blah, blah, blah. This is my wife, this, that, and the other. Now it's, how you doing? This, that, and other. Your son's a great kid. He's this, not, but with that drama from the beginning, from before, that's not going to work.
So in other words, let me just use you.
No. You got to put it down. You know what I'm saying?
Like an old mattress. Say, baby, listen.
Say, hey, baby, listen. I just need you in the meantime, in between time, till this divorce is over. Then I'll toss you to the side and I'll get me a real woman.
Then I want to actually date.
Hey, yeah, exactly. Yeah, somebody that might be possibly.
But you listen, but like I said,
it ain't you. It ain't you.
It definitely ain't you. Know that.
but y'all laughing. But this the problem is that y'all don't know how to keep it real. Because if a man told you that, you will understand it. If he broke it down the way I just broke it down to you, it only makes sense.
You gonna start again? Hey, baby, listen.
Hey, baby, listen. Hey, baby, listen.
Hey, baby, listen.
That's just as good as Cootie Cat.
Well, I agree with you, even though I don't agree with that particular portion of it. Right?
Be honest.
It is, if you've ever been like in this case, that scenario, they were both going through a divorce. But as a single woman, if you've ever met a man who was going through a divorce and you had to listen, not even as a friend, you listening to the BS that's going on during that divorce, it's way more than you even want to deal with. Like, oftentimes people are down in the pit of it.
Yes.
Scratching and fighting and cussing and trying to, and don't let there be kids involved. My goodness, like it just get really, really grimy. And so
unless you're just happy because you're just happy it's over. Because sometimes it's like
any of that is happening. Yeah, but even in that, both partners would have to be that way, or one of them is going to be trying to, cause some strife with the other. And to me, you need to be in dealing with that man when he has healed from all of that. Because it's like coming out of a war zone sometimes for them. So you need that healing time.
Hey, baby, listen.
Say, baby, listen.
Listen, but you don't understand is that it comes from the same thing of two women or two men having feelings for the same person at the same time. Because even though you're going through the divorce, right? Even though you're going through the divorce, she might not want you, but she damn sure don't want you to be happy, right? And the other woman knows that you spend time with this woman and she knows you better. The other woman knows you better than she knows you because she's just getting to know you.
It gets messy.
It's messy. It's really messy. You got to listen. You know what I'm saying? Listen, let's talk about this for a minute. And that's what I had to do. And and it's funny when I did it. When I had the conversation, she understood it. And her words was, "Now I'm probably gonna kill you because I told you to leave me alone till you got the divorce."
And you done messed it up.
Now I don't want you, baby. I done told you, baby.
He needed that cootie cat in the meantime.
I just wanted to be on top of you. That's it. That's all I wanted, just to be on top of you.
Now I can't be with you no more.
I'm speaking from experience. I thought, honestly, I'm speaking from experience, and I thought that we was gonna be able to move through it and past it. But when I, it just looked like, my ex-wife done said some things she shouldn't have said. You understand what I'm saying?
She was emotional in her feelings because she's going with divorce, so it's understandable.
Right. And she said some things that she shouldn't have said to my ex-wife, but now I have this child here. So
she loses.
So at the same time,
baby loses.
So hey, baby, listen.
Say, baby, listen.
Just go on ahead and get on out of here, okay? Just get.
Get on out of here with your alley cat.
I'm done with you.
Get on out of here.
Finished with you. I'm finished with you now.
But listen, hold on. I don't believe that though. Honestly, so if a man told it to you like that, listen, I'm going through some things. I think that we should just be a little physical. Is there anything wrong with a man saying that?
It's not nothing wrong with realness.
Yeah,
and if you choose to be that, that's fine. Right, as long as you don't take away a person's options, I'm with that.
And I'm sure that if you also added that when this divorce is over, so are you, then it might not go the way that
because that's probably not gonna happen. I don't think he's gonna say that. I really don't think he's gonna say that.
I don't think he's gonna be that real. Meantime, like as soon as I finish signing these papers, boy, I'm out.
You done. I'm gonna find somebody else.
Being that real, you're gonna be real to the point of getting what you want, but not real to the point of saying that. So,
or you could just say, "Listen, I just want something physical, nothing more. Let's not get into what I'm going through." You understand what I'm saying? Let's just figure this out, and then maybe moving forward, you can, we can.
I say, don't even add that part. Don't even add that part.
Why not?
Once you put a maybe in. Because once you put a maybe in there with a woman that you're having sex with, she's in her mind like, this gonna be my man.
Yeah, it's gonna work out. I'm gonna do all the right things.
Because we having sex, I'm gonna do these tricks, I'm gonna do all of this stuff, and he's gonna want to be with me.
I'm gonna feed him.
Not saying every woman's like that, but emotional.
That's what it is.
You hold out that carrot, and there they go. Right.
Maybe. Oh,
yeah, it's the maybe. Once you put a maybe on it, you put a maybe on something. A lot of times, people tend to think that maybe is we're gonna be together.
Yeah, he's just taking his time.
I don't know. I don't know. I think y'all got it wrong, but because y'all are like y'all not like any woman I've ever dated anyway. So maybe
we know that we know that, but we're real. It's realness.
And that you are delusional 99% of the time, but that's a whole nother show. Before we get into our main topic of the show, I just want to talk about where y'all can find us at, right? Find us on YouTube and iHeartRadio, Apple Podcasts,
Come on.
Rain Radio.
Blue Rain, yes.
What am I forgetting? iHeartRadio. I said
Twitter,
YouTube, Facebook, Twitch. Like you can find us on all those platforms. So like and share the page. Let's get this conversation into the ear of a lot of people so they could just, chime in, give us clues as to what they think about some of the things we're talking about.
Yes,
so
absolutely.
And the chat.
Hey, Shanoa.
Shout out to the chat, everybody. What's going on, y'all? Happy Sunday. Thank you for joining us. Jerome, Shanoa, Kenya. I see Kenya.
Yes.
What's popping, y'all? Since we were talking about divorcing and single and all these different things and so forth and so on, what do you guys think? Can your single friends keep you single?
My first reaction is sometimes, right? It depends on the friend. And I use the term loosely because if they're your real friends, maybe not. But oftentimes we have people in our midst that we don't know are not our friends until we do something like get a whole man or get a whole husband, and then they become a different animal. So some single friends want you to be with them. Like, let's not break up the club, girl. What you doing? And they can bring things to the table that cause problems in your relationship. And you trying to be loyal to your friend, but now you got this man, right? You got to figure it out. Like, I think penis before vagina. So I am like, hey girl, I love you, but we're gonna have to
I don't think like that. And I understand, and I respect that and everything, but I do think that I think you have to create a balanced life, because I don't feel like you should make your friends feel like they're less than now because you got a man. Like, that to me is kind of foul. Because when you're single,
that wasn't what I was
when
saying.
You're single, you're all penis over vagina. That's like hell with you.
Well,
no, I say it very lovingly.
That's how one perceives it.
That's pretty much how we exactly.
If my girl calls and be like, you want to go out, and my man calls and says, do you want to go out? I'm gonna go out with my man. It doesn't mean I'm doing
like the salami though, because of the salami,
that's not the same thing.
It's because of
the salami that way. But
is that because of the salami?
That's because of the relationship.
But I'm talking about, I get that part, but it's like, I do understand that your friends have to understand that you are in a relationship now, and that your time with them is probably going to be limited.
Right.
Or I hate to say limited, but there is going to be another factor into play. It's not going to be you're not going to be as accessible to them anymore. But oftentimes single friends get the shit into the stick when their friend gets into it, especially a new relationship. When it's fresh and new, then it's very different. You don't even
see them no more.
Yeah, new relationships is like, what? Y'all not even friends no more. What? Who are you? Like, I don't know. I don't know why it's like that. But I think as we get older, I don't think it should be like that. I think whoever the person that you're with should respect those friendships that you've had before they got there. Because a lot of times, if you happen that you are gone, they're gonna be there still, unless the friend just treats them like shit and it's like, the hell with you, I don't want to be your friend no more. I'm glad you're single now. See what you did to me. I'm not that friend though. Okay, I'm all for, I love to see love, I love to see people happy. Only time I intervene is if I feel like it's an abusive situation, or then I'm gonna be like, yo, that ain't working for you and you need to get out of that situation, because
obviously we can't.
Your ass.
Oh God.
I want to start with saying shout out to the Nieveses.
To the what?
To the Nieveses. We've been married 30 years, right? So everywhere they go, I go. I just stayed in their house.
Yeah.
I don't, and it's well understood that we're a package. So it's like
I understand that. I do.
It's like when they go away.
We're a package, right?
Yeah, they'll go away. They'd be like, we need, and it'd be Hector. He asked Martha, "Are you gonna call your friend? Are you gonna invite
and invite him?" But you know what? I love that. That's because no one is putting you over there. Like, okay, now I'm in a relationship, so now you got to be over there.
Right. And it took a lot of, like I said, we all grew up, and it's like at the same time and it's the level of respect that I have for my friend as a single guy. Right. I'm looking at myself as a single guy, right? So it's a lot of things. Is that first what I do as a friend, because I'm gonna be single. I have my issues. So bam, bam. You know what it is. Come on now. So it's like for me to understand the relationship of certain friends and where they're at in their marriage is where I would place myself in the friendship with my friend. You understand what I'm saying? Like, if, like the Storm, I know it's no holds bars. You know what I'm saying? If we out all night, I might call her and say, yeah, I'm trying to get this guy home. I'll tell on him before you even get to the door.
I think it's dope though. I think that's dope. Yeah. I think that especially if you're friends and you've grown up with the person and you've known them your whole life and they get into a relationship and then all of a sudden your friendship is dead, I think it's whack.
Right.
I'm going through that right now.
Right. So now,
I think that's why.
Now let's say if I was in a relationship and my friends don't respect the relationship that I'm in and want me to turn around and still act if I was living single, then now I have a problem because I have to look at it like, hold on, son, are you hating? Because your wife don't look as good as mine? You know what I'm saying? Or your girl don't look as good as my wife, or as my relationship, like you don't have a relationship that I have? Mm-hmm. Because to me, when a friend always tries to create situations in your relationship
that could cause a problem,
then it's hate. Because even if you have a friend and you might not be feeling the wife or the girlfriend or something, what you really do, even though you have that friend and you love that friend, you will stray away. You might not call 5 days a week like you used to. You might call, come on, nigga, you alive? You good? All right, later.
I've been there too.
Or we going through things, I might not give my opinion or my view. You understand? So it's a lot of things. And, shout out to the Gibsons too. AV and Gerard too. I'm always riding third wheel with them. You know what I'm saying? The three of us.
It helps because you've known them your whole life. You've known both of them.
But you've known them too. You've known both of them. So that does matter.
But the thing is that what happens is the wife knows me. So the respect is really, really there. So it's not no problem. But that's because of the respect that I have for my friend, for his wife. You understand what I'm saying? So it's the same thing. So Ken, no, I think that you just got to grow up and realize that if you got something good going on, you might tell your friend in the corner that's hating like to screw off, get out of here. Go find something I got.
Yeah. But I just add to that because sometimes, you got to be really careful with the input that you give into other people's relationships as the single friend, because it can be looked at as you're hating when you're not. So I'm super careful with the things that I say, because my thing is, if you come to me to tell me about your partner and you're having some issues with your partner, what are you expecting me to say to you?
You want me to validate what you're trying to
do. Right. What do you want from me?
And I'm not. But if I give you,
and that's a hard place to be in, because if you give them, listen, I never tell anybody leave their partner, husband, nothing. That's never anything that's gonna come out my mouth. If anything, if you're telling me that somebody's mistreating you or they're doing something wrong for you or whatever the case may be, my advice is to always love yourself and be who you need to be and be the best version of yourself in any type of situation, whether it be with your man, because you get caught up in telling them some advice about, and the next thing you know, we good. And now I'm the hating ass single friend. Yeah, now he don't like me.
But it's a different way too. You have to understand who your friend is.
That's true too.
You can't talk to everybody.
I have a certain friend, right, that I could tell, and he'll tell me his situation, and I say, "Nigga, you crazy, right?" And then even when it comes to light, it's like now I'm looking at what you're doing with your life, and I'm sitting there, oh, so this is what you were saying I was wrong about, and I just leave it at that.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? You gotta be careful with that advice, especially if you're the single person.
No, but if you're a single person, right? But my thing is as a friend, my loyalty is still to you. I'm not your yes man.
To you, agreed.
Right.
Agreed. I'm gonna keep it real with you. For sure.
I'm not gonna be a yes man. But I'm gonna say this to you one time, and I'm not gonna say it to you again. But if it comes up again and I see something again, then I turn around and say, remember when you said this? This is why this is this way now, because I told you, you put too much on your plate, you took too less, you did something else, whatever it is. And then at that, I will leave it alone. And then go ahead.
I just think that, and I agree with you about that one of the things that as a friend that's important that you do is allow your friend to see the picture whole. Right? It's not to give advice. Sometimes we're tunneled into whatever it is, and they come to you and they're like, look, this is what's happening. And what they can't see is what's on the fringes. Is because you're not in it, you may have a clearer picture. And so without judgment and without telling them what they should do, as a friend, I feel you can give them that at least. Like, look, let's look at what you're really dealing with and in its whole without, putting a pretty picture around it or coloring it in. Like, this is what it is, so that they are capable of making a better educated decision about what's going on in their life.
And never tell somebody to leave their partner.
No.
Never.
You know what I learned about,
especially if you got somebody you with, like, you got some nerve telling them to have a
either way, especially because if you're single, you're a hating friend because you want them to be single, and if you're if you're married, then it's like, what the hell?
Yeah, but you know what I learned how dealing with friends is, and like I said, it's the same thing. Like, especially with me, a lot of my friends, because I'm gonna say 99% of my friends is either married or in some kind of long-term relationship, and it's like, well, you're this, and but I just don't want to do what you do. But what I learned with my friends is what I do with advice and stuff is when they start venting, I just start asking questions. So now what I'm trying to get out of them, they're going to pull it out themselves.
What they're trying to get from you.
Yeah, right. Because for me, if you're venting to me about your partner, I'm not telling you what to do. I'm not telling you what you should do. I just want to know how you feel in this moment, in this situation. Because it's really if you're happy, if you're not happy, whatever the case may be, and if it's a situation that, and I'm always like, okay, well, you need to go talk to your partner because that's a conversation you need to have with them.
Yeah, you're wrong. Pull up Stacey Thomas's comment. That's interesting, and that makes a lot of sense. That's what I was trying to say too.
Friend. That's true. They just want to listen to ear. Agreed. Sometimes they just want you to listen. And yes, I agree.
Yes.
That's why I'm always one to wait until someone says to me, "What do you think?" They could talk to me for hours, and I'd be like, "Wow, get out of here! You don't say. You have to say, what do you think? What do you think I should do?" And that's the only time that I even will be reflective about it. Because other than that, that's exactly it. They could be just venting.
And even then, when you ask me what I think you should do about your relationship, I have nothing to tell you. You have to do whatever makes you happy.
But that sounds kind of on a negative thing too, because there's something there. There's something wrong. And that person knows that
tell them to leave. But see, if you're asking me what I think you should do, you probably already know what you should do because you're telling me all these horrible things about your partner and how they're doing this to you or doing that to you or whatever the case may be. You're feeling like you want to leave, but you need me to co-sign you leaving. I'm not going to be that friend that does that.
Right.
But not necessarily
you got to make.
But not necessarily leave. Like I said, that's why I said I ask certain questions so they can get the answer. I don't have to say it. You understand? Because you could put a question into something else because see, a lot of the times that single friend, right, that's on the outside, and a lot of people believe that single friend might be a little, like he might be jealous.
He's trying to jealous, right?
But that single friend, right? But that single friend sometimes is the one that doesn't want to settle and that's non-tolerant to a lot of bullshit that goes on.
That's true.
On an everyday basis in relationship. So sometimes that single person is single because maybe they don't want to go through what you're going through.
And just and know the person that you're talking to. Because if you got a single bitter friend that's angry and mad at everybody in the world, that ain't the friend you want to talk to anyway.
Right.
You know what I mean? You don't want to go to that single friend that's bitter and they hate men and hate women and they are not the person that you want advice from or to even talk to because their answers is going to be screw them.
Right. And that's why I say I never really give advice. I always answer with a question and I let you figure it out.
I agree.
You know what I'm saying? And this way everybody happy. My friend happy, the wife happy. You know what I'm saying? Whatever company I have for the evening, she's happy because I'm not giving bad advice. You know what I'm saying? So everybody wins.
Exactly. So yeah, you do gotta, so ultimately, can your single friends keep you single? They can try, especially if
they could try.
Like if you got a miserable single friend, that friend probably doesn't want you to be in a relationship.
But that friend's a hater because
that friend's a hater, yeah.
And nobody's it's probably been a hater in other areas as well.
Right. Nobody is going to say nothing negative about someone that you love.
Right. Exactly. You know exactly.
So that's really the same thing. So if somebody wants to keep you single, then you have to really look at that person. And like, even like I could say a lot of the times, even when I was married, and like I said, you want to blame it on young and inexperience and immaturity. A lot of that was probably listening to them no good mother suckers that was in my marriage in the first place. You know,
so you invited in, not even
invited in. And because sometimes you got to keep people out of your relationship.
Some things you just don't need to discuss with nobody.
You don't.
Absolutely.
You understand what I'm saying? Some things, and that's what I really, really learned. That's why a lot of people don't know who I could possibly be sleeping with, where I'm going, what I'm doing, because honestly, that's too much information for anyone.
Michelle know.
Yeah.
Well, we know.
We get all up in your business.
We in it all the time.
You try not to tell us right then and there, but we find out.
You won't tell us.
But trust me, I don't take your advice.
We never give them advice.
We never give you advice, and most times we're telling you that you're wrong.
I know that's the problem. That's why I don't ask, because you be on their side before you even meet them. What you do?
Oh, here he go again. Oh, what you do? Poor thing. Does she know who you are?
Now you might have a point there. That's because we know you.
I can recall me and Michelle meeting someone that you were dating, and this happened more than once. And you were dating, and we brought her around, or we came around, and me and Michelle looked at each other and was like, "We'll give her about another 30 days." Like, she is not gonna make it. She is in over her head. She is not built for this.
Now, you know that's Michelle's favorite. Well, what did you do?
Yeah,
sorry yet.
Because I know it's something. I know. We on your side though, but sometimes
always
you need to listen to us when it comes to giving advice, because
then you treat
them a little. Yeah, what'd you do, Rashay? That's my question. What'd you do, Rashay?
You know what he going? He started with, "Hey, baby, listen."
Yeah. That's exactly what happened.
That's where the fight started.
In the meantime, in between time, you think I could jump on you?
That's right. Until I want to move on.
And that's it.
With some of the cootie cat.
I don't want nothing else but that. That's it.
And I only want it until I sign these papers.
And then I'm done.
Now I need to agitate the gravel. I'll call you. It's been great.
Listen, y'all. Y'all know.
But hold on, y'all. Listen though, and y'all know me. But do I really ever break up bad? Think about that. I've always have mild breakups. Like, is nobody ever gonna say they hate me? They might.
Your ex-wife.
Well, but that's something different though. That's something different.
Okay.
That's something that's a marriage. Okay. That's totally different. But we good now. We real good friends. That's my girl.
But what about stalkers? Does that count as a bad breakup?
You got to blame that on Salami.
Okay.
I'm just saying.
Let's talk about that on the next show.
Oh, one more thing before we leave. One more thing before we leave. I have to. Lachey just answered the question at the beginning of this segment.
Oh,
he says,
"Why
penis before vagina?" Shout out to the Salami, please.
You never. Now you said it, and that's why I tried to bring it back. What you was saying.
Let's take a moment of silence for the Salami.
I know how I meant it.
Shout out to the Salami. I got you.
No, she didn't say that the vagina, the salami is like everything to everything. No, that's not what she meant. Whatever.
We'll fight that way. We'll fight it out on another
looking
show.
Because when the salami's good, you settle for, baby, listen.
I don't know.
I don't know about all of that. But anyway, guys, you just said, listen. If you're a single out there, don't be trying to destroy people's relationships, okay? Just go find your own and be happy. But as you guys know, we end every show with a nice little shellism. It is never wise to seek or wish for another's misfortune. If malice or or envy were tangible and had a shape, it would be the shape of a boomerang.
Hey.
Marinate on that. We're going to see y'all next week. Peace and love, y'all.
All right, guys.
I'm Team Remy's on DJ Big Rob. As we bring down the Cabo Experience 2022, I'm bringing talent. I'm bringing Stiletto. I'm bringing Kenny Williams. I'm bringing DJ Warren, DJ Zah, DJ Storm, DJ K-Dog, and Uptown Zone, Jeff Ray. For more info, go to www.theteamremy.com. And you're drawing, hold up. Go to www.theteamremy.com as we bring you all around. 5 days, 4 nights, opening party in the sky. Shake your day pool party. 90s party featuring Jeff Brand. All white Bon Voyage comedy show. Special performance by RL. Yes, Big Rod's gonna be on the day. And I'm bringing my cousins with me. Conversation with my cousins.